What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and this is Downriver. This is a 2025 movie. It's a Southern Gothic thriller that's being distributed by Quiver, and it does not have audio description because I have yet to see anything come out of Quiver with audio description. I have a feeling that even if a film was floating around film festivals with audio description, it would probably lose it when it went to Quiver and would be sent out to companies. So it happens a lot. Anyway, I don't know what to do with this movie. I debated a lot with it because I got sent this movie and a couple times actually as a screener, and it sucks because I'm the blind film critic. So my perspective is that of I need audio description and accessibility. I also did get into this because I like film and I support filmmakers and cinema and the idea that there are undiscovered gems out there all the time and that we need to use our platforms to reach those audiences. Uh, I love having that debate when it's a smaller film that doesn't quite have the level of attention to it. You know, it's not the film that every single channel has made a review about that week, where everybody's like, yeah, we all saw Superman that week. It's like, was there another movie that came out that week, guys? Anybody? There are entire channels out there that thrive because they cover the biggest films, and then you have the print critics who are assigned films, and they're not going to be assigned this. Like this is not something that strikes the fancy of. There isn't a major star here. There isn't really a reason to. It's not. It opened, dropped on in the middle of December, in the middle of awards season. It's not an awards contender, and there are too many awards films. Films like this need to stay away from awards month because I mentioned this with a couple screeners that came my way. I was like, this is not the month, guys. November, December, I'm getting like an onslaught of like FYC packages from from distributors of everything they've ever released. And Quiver doesn't run FYC campaigns, so they don't really understand. They're just putting out content. But um, yeah, there are a lot of companies like Quiver that are still trying to look for these video on demand releases that they're putting out and trying to find coverage for them. I just didn't have the time in December. Then I reviewed another movie and I liked it, and I said, "Hey, if you have anything else, just let me know." And they're like, "Oh, by the way, we have this." And I was like, "God, it's Downriver again." It's been it's been almost like 2 months since Downriver first debuted, but no one's reviewed it. Like, it has no score yet on Rotten Tomatoes. Metacritic has no reviews for it. I tried to Google for reviews. I couldn't find any. The IMDb page has 28 users who have reviewed the film. No, let's be honest. We know some of those people worked on the movie. Like, they checked out their own IMDb page. Let's just say the most scores are tens. So, um, I'm not saying there aren't real people, but I read the reviews that were written there, and it's funny, with only 28 reviews, you have enough people who felt the time to write user-generated reviews down there. One lady liked it because it didn't have bad language in it. So, all right, whatever. But for a Southern Gothic thriller that is trying to, I don't know, be compared to Winter's Bone, or films of that kin where you're up in the Appalachian mountains, and there's a murder that has to be, uh, you know, taken care of. I don't know. You have a sheriff and his deputy, and they're investigating this crime, and a small town that will be rocked by it, and mysteries that will be unearthed, and characters who will be hiding secrets It is. It's one of those movies. I actually really like the music to this, especially the song that plays in the credits. I just let the credits play out. I was like, I don't know what this song is, but it's dope. So I really loved. That was a good choice. I kind of love country bluegrass music anyway, so that whole genre worked for me, and that had that vibe to it. Uh, I couldn't piece this thing together if I wanted to be honest. There are a lot of pieces here um with scenes with no dialogue, and I'm blind, so I would be lying to you if I came here and reviewed Downriver in a way where I connected the dots. A lot of times, I seek out other people who have said things about the film, whether on YouTube or critic reviews or whatever, just for validation to make sure I interpreted the film correctly or to find out what I was missing, maybe in a certain scene or something. Whenever I attack films that attack is the wrong word for does this feel like an attack? I don't think so. Films that don't have audio description. Um, so I can't do that here. There's no like I can't I can't find anybody offering any meaningful contribution to this film. And well, I haven't actually asked the director slash writer team, producer team of Downriver if they would like me to actually do this. I did encounter another film that I they were really pushing me and they were really indie and they were really up this angle and it was a horror movie and I was like, guys, blind film critic, I I don't know what I'm going to be able to do for you here. I don't foresee me being able to justify a fresh rating coming from my perspective. For the same reason that I'm like the only film critic who has like negative, or one of the only ones that has negative reviews for It Was Just an Accident and Secret Agent, two films that have no English or little to no English in them in the case of Secret Agent. So, I mean, it's just if I'm not speaking from my unique perspective, then what am I doing? In terms of an underrepresented voice. But should people see Downriver? Yeah, we should see more movies like this. So I'm torn because I want to give the film coverage, but I also can't really review it. I don't think it's a bad movie. It could be, for sighted people, I mean, this thing could be like a nightmare, right? The cinematography could be just awful. Editing could be, incompetent. The costumes could look like they were from. I realize there are a whole bunch of visual elements here when I'm asking sighted people to dive into Downriver, but if nothing else, I'm putting this review out there for people to go, what is Downriver? And to check it out and see what it is. These films, they get made independently, they find financing, and they can't help who their distributor is or where they go. It's possible that if this lands on Tubi later on, it'll find a second life of its own for people who only watch Tubi movies because they can't pay for a streaming service, so they just keep watching things that are on Tubi. Um, and maybe then. But I don't know. I think it's competently made, so it's worth having a conversation about. I wasn't crazy about the acting, but these are also a bunch of actors that I don't really know. So I think this is just what you get sometimes in independent film acting is a block of actors who are not quite as accomplished as what you would think. There's definitely a guy here passing off an accent that I don't think is his, and I I don't know which one of he's one of the cops. One of the cops is passing off, and I don't know if he's the sheriff or the deputy, or I couldn't tell the difference between the two of them. Um, but I would I would move to guess that is not his accent. Um, but that's just me. If he does speak that way naturally, cool. I just didn't feel that at all. If I was to give any sort of critique at all, I felt like that was a really fake accent. Um, but yeah, I don't know. The score slash music is kind of fun and cool to listen to. Um, the dialogue when it's there is interesting. I didn't hate the dialogue. It's only like 95 minutes of your life. It's not like a giant time waster. So I figure if I put this out there, even if I don't give it a concrete review, at least I'm offering the film what they're looking for, coverage. Now the debate is, do I put it onto the tomato meter? Because I can't give it a fresh score. And kind of like what I did for the other film is I think they were sort of I think it's sort of a good bad thing, right? Because if you are close to having a score on the tomato meter, you need a certain amount of reviews to get from no score yet to having a score appear. And no score yet makes it look like, I don't know, you're some bizarre film that, fell off the truck and forgotten in the wilderness. So I think people are looking for that score. So theoretically, um, let's say I'm the only person who gives it a rotten score because it's inaccessible and I can't follow it. So my score is rotten. And nine other critics come along and they give it enough for it to get an average on the tomato meter. I think it's 10. Is you have to have a minimum of 10 to have a score. That had to be a 90%, right? So my review would have helped it to get a score. But I don't even think there's a review of this on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'd be like the first one. I can't find anybody who's reviewed this movie. So I don't know. It's just I like to chastise other critics for not doing it, for guys, we don't need 1,000 reviews of the same movies. It's just um and there's some channels out there who devote themselves to reviewing smaller films. I haven't even seen them pick this up. I don't know, man. We've those of us who bother to look at films like Downriver and take them seriously, like I'm reviewing this the day after I just put up a movie called Pike River, which is a New Zealand movie starring Melanie Linsky. Um, yeah, I don't mind doing this. But it's tough, and every time I do this, I struggle with the do I tell the rep thanks but no thanks. It's probably best if I don't review this. I've done that, but I've done that for films that have existing coverage, and this doesn't. So I'm wading into a very uncertain territory with Downriver, where it's like putting my money where my mouth is, right? I put out a review a day, and I have to dedicate a day to Downriver because I can't call out other people for not doing it. There's definitely, come on, if it's going into my inbox, it's going into other people's inboxes, and other people are going like, I don't know. I don't have the time. I understand, man. It's FYC season. I had to watch a ton of shit too. Like I'm right there with you. Um, but the moment has passed, and if they're sending it around for another wave, I think it's time to at least have some people comment on Downriver so that way people know it exists. Because that's part of the thing is it can get lost real fast on a VOD service. If you're looking to rent something on Apple, it's from December 9th. It's already gonna be hard. It's not gonna be like right up at the top. So this is something that exists purely on word of mouth, and with nothing out there. At least I can engage in a conversation about it downriver, um, as being a sort of feel has sort of like ghost story vibes to it. Um, I liked the scene with the mother and going to retrieve her son. That's the best way I can say that without spoiling that scene. But I thought that was good. That was kind of fun. She had a lot of chutzpah to it. But yeah, I don't know what to do. But I'm sticking to my guns on this one. A lot of times I can watch a movie and I can pass on it when it doesn't have audio description because a lot of other people have reviewed it. Like I don't have reviews. I didn't just come here to be like, oh God, let me chime in on Bride Hard. Let me chime in Guns Up and some of those other films. It's like I saw them, I just didn't feel like reviewing them and giving them space and time because other people had. But with Downriver, I don't have that luxury. And since I would tell everyone else that they should review it, that they should use their platform and their channel and subscribers to maybe force a conversation or force some people to at least look at a trailer for Downriver and think about, huh, does this look like something I may want to watch? Um, I know it doesn't have anybody in it that you know. I know it doesn't have anybody in it that you recognize. That does not mean it's a bad movie. That does not inherently make it a film that you shouldn't watch. An example of this in a film that is deeply inaccessible to me, I hate the fact that I'm giving them because they were more than successful enough and should have acquired audio description at some point during their release. But Hundreds of Beavers, like, does anybody know anybody who was in Hundreds of Beavers before that came out? No, it was a word of mouth thing. They went around and they built a word of mouth campaign around their movie and took it around. It wasn't like, oh God, I don't want to see that because I don't know the cast. So, I don't know, just if you actually do like film, then that means that you have to try to find it. And if you're complaining because you see too many franchise sequels, reboots, remakes, all that kind of stuff, then it means you should be looking for films like this. You should be looking for films that go around to festivals that are these little indie movies that are trying to tell stories that are being pushed through by directors and writers who aren't being given, millions of dollars to make these major movies for studios. So those are my thoughts on Downriver. It's not a hard score because my score for this would be rotten. Because I'm blind. Not because the film is necessarily rotten, but because it doesn't have enough here, but I never know that until I tackle the film. So I have to be willing to say yes and take the film because I don't know if the film is driven by dialogue. I have no idea how much dialogue is in the film and how much of it I can understand. So normally with something like Downriver, if there was enough coverage being given to it by other people, I could back away from it and say, I don't think you want me to review this. And I noticed with one other film, like I mentioned, when it was given to me, that I was pretty sure that the reason they were asking me, and even though they knew I was going to give a rotten review, to do so was so that they could get a score, because they were pretty close to accumulating enough reviews to go from no score yet to fresh. But that's not this case. I would not be the deciding vote on this film. I mean, I would be like the first, but do you want to click on a title and see one rotten review? I don't think so. So, this is not really a review. This is me talking about Downriver and talking about how we should watch more films like Downriver and wishing that movies like Downriver would be released January through October and not November, December. If you're going to do November, December, you need to put your advanced screener copies out way in advance. Like, I was getting stuff for this season with like 2 month advance notice of like release. Like, I was seeing stuff way before it came out. I've seen it. I saw Pillion like over a month ago. Nothing doesn't even come out until February. So yeah, it's if you're struggling for coverage, you just have to. Um, you gotta organize it a little bit better. Those are all my thoughts. I know that doesn't help. I'm sorry, Downriver people. You probably saw this and you're like, oh my God. But I'm trying to do a solid here. I really am. I'm trying to say, check out Downriver. At bare minimum, check out the trailer and think about checking out Downriver. But yeah, it's weird that I'm the one person, right? But I can't be the guy who says we should continue to talk about these types of movies without actually being the guy who talks about these type of movies. So, I can't go to this film and be like, I'm sorry. No. So this is my compromise. It's not really a review. I can't upload it. So I feel so bad being the only rotten review. As much as I love pushing for audio description against films and this is just feels like you know, I feel like I'm yelling at like the Girl Scout that's out of cookies, like it's her fault, you know? Like this little girl at the table. Why don't you have any cookies? I don't know. Um, so if you are part of Downriver and now you know what audio description is, it's what blind and low vision people use to watch film. You can use it on your next film. That could be an educational tool that comes out of this review. That would be great. Um, I know people are like, "Here's budgetary concerns." Uh, Bro, I've seen some really low budget movies with audio description. I saw something last year called Big Freaking Rat, which I'm convinced was made by like kids in a backyard, and it had audio description. I don't know why. So, um, yeah, it's not impossible to have audio description created for your film. And if you're going to bounce around to film festivals, it means that you have an accessible film that anybody who's going to that film festival, suddenly your title becomes more enticing. You have something to be able to take around. And if you end up having it at if you end up getting picked up by a distributor, you already have this thing that's already made. So you can say, hey, take this with our deliverables, and please use it. So yeah, I've seen so many like little documentaries and stuff floated around that just surprisingly have audio description. But I also think there's a lot of conversation around what is it? I don't know what this is. And also, we're poor and we don't have the money for it. And it's just like, I don't know. That conversation always makes me uncomfortable. Um, unless your budget is so low that the audio description track itself would have encompassed the entire film's budget, which I've seen one movie where I think that was the case. So I gave it a pass. OPEX. I think that film is it's made like entirely in the dude's house with his own stuff. Um, but yeah, other than that, audio description, it's still important. It's what's keeping me from being able to go fresh on a film that I couldn't follow, if you're wondering. If that's the great debate. So this is amusing on Downriver. It's not really a review. It's some honest thoughts from a blind film critic. So yes. I'll probably also write up something too to help with that coverage for my site. I don't know that I can bring myself to put anything on Rotten Tomatoes for this. I don't know. I'm a good person. I'm sorry. So there you go. Check out Downriver. Um, please, somebody, anybody, other critics, check out Downriver, please. Please don't make me be the only one. do do your job, find other films and write about them. Anyway, that's it. That's what I got. Uh, yeah, I I like the music here though. I mean, if I had one big compliment here, it would be the music, just in general. That's what I got for the film. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.